In this series, we will journey through the world of Elden Ring together. From the very first step in Link to the throne of the lands between itself. If you enjoy stories, lore, and dark fantasy adventures like this, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. Now then, let the story begin. When the Tarnished first opened their eyes beneath the cold ruins of a forgotten crypt, the world above had already begun to rot. The Erd Tree still glowed across the horizon like a divine sun. But the lands between were no longer a kingdom of gods in glory. They were ruins, graveyards, echoes of something ancient that refused to die. Guided only by the faint light of grace, the Tarnished stepped out into Limgrave for the very first time, where endless green fields stretched beneath golden skies and broken castles loomed in the distance. For a brief moment, the world almost looked peaceful. But that illusion shattered instantly the moment the Tarnished encountered the Tree Sentinel. Towering in radiant golden armor atop a massive warhorse, the knight patrolled the roads like a living executioner. Many believed he was simply the first enemy meant to be defeated. Instead, he became the first brutal lesson of Elden Ring. One devastating strike was enough to crush the Tarnished into the dirt, proving that this world showed no mercy to anyone, not even the player. The lands between did not care about heroes. Survival had to be earned. After barely escaping death, the Tarnished wandered deeper into Limgrave, moving through abandoned churches, ruined camps, dark forests, and forgotten roads haunted by soldiers and beasts alike. Eventually, beside a glowing site of grace, a mysterious woman named Melina appeared from the darkness. Come! And unreadable, she offered the Tarnished an accord, granting the ability to channel runes into strength and gifting them Torrent, the spectral steed. From that moment onward, the journey truly began. Riding across the vast lands of Limgrave, the Tarnished discovered a world overflowing with decay and hidden horrors. Underground catacombs were filled with restless corpses, giant dragons slept within lakes, and shattered ruins whispered stories of wars long forgotten. Every location felt ancient, as if the world itself was collapsing beneath the weight of its own history. Yet no matter how terrifying the journey became, one destination constantly stood in the distance above the cliffs like a challenge waiting to be conquered: Stormvile Castle. As the Tarnished approached the castle, the skies darkened, and violent storms consumed the mountains ahead. The massive fortress stood like a monument to despair, its walls torn apart by endless wind and war. Along the road leading toward it stood a strange man wearing a white mask, known only as White Mask Vare, with a smile that felt both mocking and unsettling. He greeted those Tarnished with the words that would become legendary among players: Maidenless Arwen. Though it sounded like an insult, the line carried a deeper meaning. In the lands between, every Tarnished was judged. Every warrior was watched carefully to see whether they would rise above the chaos or vanish like the countless corpses scattered across the land. The road towards Stormvile itself was merciless. Giant trolls leapt from cliffs without warning. Soldiers ambushed from ruined barricades, and arrows rained endlessly from the skies. Again and again the Tarnished died, but with every failure came growth. Fear slowly transformed into determination. The weak corpse who first woke beneath the earth was slowly becoming a warrior. Finally, after surviving countless battles, the Tarnished stood before the gates of Stormvile Castle itself. Thunder roared overhead while the castle walls towered like the jaws of a giant beast, ready to devour anyone foolish enough to enter. A nervous gatekeeper named Gastak warned the Tarnished not to use the main gate, but many ignored the warning and paid the price instantly. Ballistas fired enormous bolts across the battlefield. Soldiers swarmed through smoke and fire, and death came from every direction at once. Stormvile was not simply a castle. It was a nightmare built to destroy intruders. forced to sneak through hidden side paths. The Tarnished fought through narrow rooftops, dark corridors, and cursed chambers filled with grotesque enemies. The deeper they ventured into the fortress, the more twisted the castle became. Stormhawks with blades attached to their claws descended from the skies, screaming violently while corpses littered every hallway. It felt as though the castle itself had been corrupted by madness. At the heart of Stormville Castle, behind massive wooden doors, awaited the ruler of the fortress, Godric the Grafted. He was not a noble king, but a pathetic and terrifying demigod obsessed with power. His body was covered in stolen limbs grafted grotesquely onto his flesh, creating a monster made from the remains of countless victims.
Deliver me unto greater heights. Well, lonely Tarnished, plain as a lord, I command thee, kneel! I am the lord of all that is golden.
The moment he raised his axe and roared, forefathers, one and all, bear witness. The battle began. Wind exploded across the arena as Godric attacked with overwhelming fury, each strike powerful enough to crush the Tarnished instantly. Yet the true horror came during the second phase of the battle. In a moment of complete madness, Godric severed his own arm and grafted the head of a dragon onto his body.
Truest of dragons, lend me thy strength.
The dragon awakened with terrifying flames, flooding the battlefield in fire while Godric screamed like a man consumed by insanity. It no longer felt like a battle against a ruler. It felt like fighting a desperate creature, terrified of weakness and death. But the Tarnished endured through endless dodges, desperate healing, and countless near-death moments. They continued fighting against impossible odds. And eventually, Godric fell. The storms outside slowly began to calm as silence filled the throne room. For the first time since awakening beneath the earth, the Tarnished stood victorious over a demigod. The weak warrior once humiliated by the Tree Sentinel had now conquered Stormvile Castle itself. In that moment, the Tarnished was no longer just another forgotten exile wandering through ruins. They had become something far greater. A warrior capable of changing the fate of the lands between. Yet beyond Stormvile's walls, deeper horrors and far greater legends were already waiting in the shadows.